We have been retaliating against that violation of that deal ever since. And what are we doing? We're doing what we couldn't get done diplomatically. What is the fuss all about with the Straits of Hormuz? This is a strategic asset that exceeds the nuclear deal in terms of their enterprise. Why? Because their enterprise is largely under a mountain of rubble. But this is a means for them to have influence in the region and control the distribution of oil, something they have always wanted to have. And look, they're wanting to fight for it.
Alexandria Hoff reporting live from the White House. Hi, Alex. Good morning.
Hi, Dana. Good morning to you. Yeah, this morning, the War Department confirming the identities of 2 U.S. service members killed in an attack on Friday as an Iranian missile had made it through defense systems in Jordan on Friday. Now, the members killed, they were 25-year-old First Lieutenant James Feehan. He was from Hawaii. Also, Private Isabella Gonzalez of Texas. She was just 19 years old. As you mentioned, the remains of a third service member, they still are unidentified at this hour. A circulating video released by the Associated Press appears to show the deadly attack in Jordan carried out by an Iranian missile. It made it through protected airspace. President Trump yesterday expressed grief for the losses.
Those great people, those great patriots were out there fighting that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. But we hit them very hard again tonight. And we did that in honor of the probably three as opposed to 2 great patriots.
So the current U.S. air campaign is being carried out as punishment directed specifically at IRGC factions that have been targeting U.S. air bases like we are seeing right now. The 9th consecutive days of strikes focus on weapons hubs and command centers. Secretary Rubio spoke yesterday to the American losses as well.
It's heartbreaking, and our hearts go out to these families. These are heroes that pay the ultimate price. We also lost a service member in Iraq unrelated to combat. They were decommissioning a munition, and an accident happened in that process, and they were harmed.
That separate death took place in northern Iraq, occurring, according to the Pentagon, during a controlled detonation of an Iranian drone. And President Trump is looking to further squeeze Iran financially by urging Republicans to add Iran to the Russian sanctions bill currently being worked through. He said it is what Lindsey Graham would have wanted and what he was planning to do, Dana.
All right, Alex, thank you.
So I want to bring in Rebeccah Heinrichs, Senior Fellow, Hudson Institute. Rebeccah, good day to you. You've been with us since the very beginning of this conflict. Reports of more U.S. F-16 and F-35s flown into the region happened before all the activity that happened this past weekend, maybe parked at air bases in Israel. Listen to Mike McCall on Sunday with Shannon on Fox News Sunday about escalation.
We stopped to negotiate a ceasefire and a negotiated settlement. That did not work with this regime. So now we're going to move forward with Plan A again. The military is going to move in, take out their launch pads, take out their ability to send Shahed drones to hit tankers. We got to knock out these targets inside of Iran to open up the Straits of Hormuz. That has to be the fundamental key objective right now.
As you examine this and think about that plan, how long would that take before we could effectively knock out what he is describing there?
It would probably be a matter of weeks. So the target, if you look at what the United States Central Command is hitting now, they're really primarily focused on all of Iran's military capabilities to specifically threaten the Strait of Hormuz. So these targets are a bit different than the first wave of strikes in Operation Epic Fury. We're not going after with the Israelis. I mean, the Israelis are not coming alongside us right now. They're not going after leadership. They're not going after the Basij that represses the Iranian people. We are specifically focused on anything that the Iranians have that can threaten the Strait. So we are now striking bridges around Bandar Abbas, this port city that's critical for its naval capabilities. And we're hitting surveillance towers that they're used for maritime surveillance. And we're going after their drone production facilities and their missile facilities. And for viewers who might be wondering, I thought we hit all this stuff the first round. Remember, Iran is the size of Texas plus California plus. So it's a sprawling nation, and it has a lot of these deeply buried facilities that Admiral Cooper had on his target list the first round, but we paused for this ceasefire, and now we're back at it.
All right. Also, can you tell me a little bit about what the Gulf nations, our allies, might be thinking right now? We just reported that Kuwait is under fire right now.
Right. So I would be focusing all of our diplomatic energy and activity with our Gulf partners, Kuwait, Bahrain, UAE, the Saudis, because we need to make sure that everybody holds the line and stays with us. The last time we did this, Dana, where we were doing more muscular strikes, the Gulf states were getting really nervous because Iran retaliates against them and their facilities. So if the United States does not very publicly stand with them and give them what they need so that they're safe, they're going to get cold feet. And then we'll see things like the last time we did Project Freedom, the Saudis deny the United States airspace in their country. So I would move away from trying to get a deal with the Iranians right now and focus our diplomatic energy towards those Gulf Arab states that are so important to the United States.
Okay, so Rebeccah, in the big scheme of things, when we were talking with General Keane about an hour ago, we want to know what's different about this conflict now than maybe a week ago. To the outside observer, it may seem like it's just a constant tit for tat, back and forth. Do you see it that way, or is there something happening there that's not as obvious?
Well, I think that the administration still is looking for the possibility of an opening for a deal, and I don't think that there is going to be one. I mean, anytime you hear the Iranian negotiators say that they do want a deal, my answer to them would be, then why is Vahidi, the head of the IRGC, still alive? Why is he not being prosecuted for disobeying orders of the political leaders that are negotiating? Why isn't he been arrested? Vahidi is an IRGC commander who is a terrorist. He helped with Soleimani. Remember, Soleimani was the terrorist that President Trump rightly took out whenever he was in Iraq. He led the IRGC. And so Vahidi is still controlling the IRGC in the Strait. So I think that diplomacy with the Iranians right now is dead. And I think we need to be focusing on this military activity, economic squeezing, secondary sanctions against any country. I'm looking at China. I'm looking at Russia providing any help at all to the Iranians. That is what I would be focusing on at this stage.
Well, that was what I was going to ask you about, and especially in light of the terrible news about the men and women who were killed over the weekend. There is suggestions that Russia and China might be helping Iran with very precise targeting. Do you know if that's true?
Well, anytime I see drone activity or missile activity that is very, very precise, I always begin to think, goodness, these Iranians are getting help from the Russians or from the Chinese, or likely to, because the Iranians are actually very bad at targeting, and we've taken out so much of their ability to target at all that it would lead me to believe that they are getting help from these more sophisticated countries. And so I certainly hope that's not the case, and our government should be making sure that there is punishment against that and trying to make sure that that does not happen. The other thing I would say, Dave, you make a great point about we are very, very sensitive as Americans to any death of an American in harm's way. And part of what is making this war more drawn out than I think it would be otherwise is President Trump is so sensitive to that, and he does not want American casualties. And so he's trying to conduct this war as effectively as possible with as minimal American casualties as possible, which means we've ruled out large ground invasions or anything like that that would increase the risk to U.S. forces in the region. And so the American people should understand that that's also why you're seeing rounds of strikes that may take longer than they otherwise might.
Rebeccah, thanks for coming on.